Feel the power.
Oh, I can feel it.
Our moment of triumph approaches. It's
Rock Talk.
3, 2, 1.
We'd like to welcome you to another edition of Grok Talk, brought to you by New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, GraniteGrok.com. We are your feared, extremist, right-wing, hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken, rabble-rousing, letter-writing, radio microphone stomping conservatives and rational libertarians. So get ready for more news and opinion you could only get from GraniteGrok.com.
Rock Talk.
All right, we're Grok Talk. We're back. It's Guy and Jane and Skip and Steve and Scott, who is on the phone but not online yet. We're getting there.
We're going to bring you on right now.
Right now. We have with us, for a slightly shorter segment because he's got stuff to do because he's a busy guy, Scott Wilson, the head of the Connecticut Citizens Defense League. And we want to talk to Scott about a report that came out from a commission by Governor Malloy in Connecticut that pretty much wipes out the Second Amendment by the looks of things. Scott, how you doing? Scott, you there? Oh, there we go. Sorry, wrong button. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, we're doing as best as we can, Skip. Thanks for having me on today. And we appreciate, folks like yourself up in New Hampshire and the rest of the country watching what's going on here in Connecticut, because this is the same type of cookie-cutter platform that they're looking to implement on the rest of the country.
All right, so give us a brief rundown of what this report says. They can go to ccdl.org and read it, but let's talk about the damage.
Well, right, exactly. Just so for your listeners' convenience, essentially, I'm going to go down the list of bullet points that they're looking at, and that includes gun seizures with ex parte temporary restraining orders, also with gun violence restraining orders, and mandatory background checks on the sales and transfers of firearms, including long guns, private sales and sales at gun shows, requiring registration, including a certificate of registration for any firearms, not just so-called assault weapons, but so essentially they want to register every type of firearm from a revolver to a .22 caliber rimfire single shot. Renewal of firearm permits on a regular basis. Our permits to carry here are renewed every 5 years, and we pay $70 to renew them, and they want to up that. They also want to eliminate and ban the sale, possession, and use of any ammunition or magazine feeding devices that can hold excess of 10 rounds. So that would essentially eliminate, if we're interpreting this correctly, which I'm sure we are, any semi-automatic handgun that can accept any magazine. Allow the purchase of ammunition for registered firearms. Evaluate the practice of regulation of prohibition of the sale and purchase of ammunition via the Internet. There's a whole litany of things here, and I could read them all if you like, but I think your listeners are getting the idea right now.
Oh, yeah, I know. Trigger locks at this point of sale. It's really, really ugly. So how do you guys respond to this?
Well, our response right now is essentially for our members to reach out to their legislators, and even if they're legislators that voted for the big gun law back in 2013, SB 1160, we're asking them to reach out and say, listen, you guys have done enough damage to our rights. None of the stuff that they're calling for here with this proposed recommendations had anything to do with what led to the outcome of what happened in Sandy Hook. And the other thing that needs to be pointed out from our members to their legislators is the fact that there's nothing in here about punishing criminals that buy or sell firearms or use them illegally. There's nothing in there to disincentivize criminal behavior with firearms.
So what's the next step? This is basically just a report. It's a recommendation for legislation, or
This is a recommendation from the Sandy Hook Advisory Commission, much of which they asked for prior to the 2013 gun ban. They got that was included in the package. So, do they have the clout to get some of this stuff done? They probably have the clout to do that. Some of this, they probably don't have the clout to accomplish all of this, because it's such an extreme, drastic pivot from what we've traditionally had here for firearms rights in Connecticut. Still, the idea is for us to preemptively start approaching our legislators. I know that a lot of legislators that did vote for SB 1160 in 2013 have a sort of a buyer's remorse, so I think we'll be able to at least convince some of them to not go along with any of this stuff, or at least most of this stuff that's in this proposal.
So two questions really sort of combined. One, if they pass it, who files a lawsuit against it? And if the other one is, does the gun industry just put its hands up and just completely leave Connecticut?
I would think if this were to pass, then, or most of this were to pass, then yes, absolutely. I really think that this would be the death knell. I think Colt would even pack up their machinery and move to a free state.
That'd be nice.
We'll take them, right?
We'll take them.
This is Skip, and I want to say thanks for coming on the show. There was also a clause that said that if I wanted to come down and purchase a firearms in Connecticut, that I had to register with the state of Connecticut to be able to do that. And I'll be honest with you, I own a couple of Colt firearms. I would like to be able to go down and get a couple others and go right to the headquarters and do that. Would I now be prohibited from doing that?
I'm not really sure about that, Skip. I do know that our main focus right now is preemptively trying to stop some of this proposal, and there's also other separate bills that already actually are in the legislature right now with proposals to try to create more damage to our rights here. There's also some good proposals in, but some of those, again, will probably not really see the light of day.
Now, during our pre-show, we brought this up because I was excited last night when Steve said that you were willing to come on the show. Question is if these were all to pass, is this sufficient to be able to bring a Heller kind of lawsuit that says essentially you have regulated away the Second Amendment? Is anybody looking at that?
Well, right. Well, as you know now, we already do have legal action going on at the appellate level in the federal court system. So, and that case is called Shue v. Malloy. And June Shue is our lead plaintiff. We're a plaintiff. We're fundraising like crazy to pay the lawyers. But I would say that there would be several lawsuits, judging from how I've seen our attorneys operate, because there's really some variations from the types of things, the draconian measures that they're looking to implement. So you'd have to have separate lawsuits. But as far as banning an ammunition feeding device in excess of 10 rounds, that particular one, that would certainly fall under the purview of what we're suing for right now, which is commonly possessed firearms. Then you're going to have to look at ammunition and registered firearms. That would probably be separate lawsuits. So there could be a litany of lawsuits attacking this proposal or what passes from this proposal from a number of different angles.
Yeah. Wouldn't that even include the prohibition of buying ammo through the internet? Isn't that suppression of state boundary commerce?
It's interstate commerce as far as I'm concerned, but of course that's going to it's all going to be interpreted by the courts if that does get challenged in a lawsuit, in a federal lawsuit.
Hey, if people, we're only going to have you for a couple more minutes. I know you have to get going. If people want to donate, how would they do that to help support you guys with these legal costs?
Well, they can visit our website, which is ccdl.us, and we have links right on the homepage there where you can click on and donate and contribute to the cause. All the money we've collected now in the last 2 years plus, we've used towards the litigation in Shue v. Malloy, and we have consolidated roughly $600,000 and paid nearly all of that to the team of attorneys in this last 2 years. So, that's really this is the agenda. This is the agenda that the leftist gun control proponents are looking to impose on us, and they want to be able to use us in Washington State and Maryland as their shining examples of accomplishment.
No? All right. Well, we're going to let you go because I know you have an appointment to get to, and we don't want your wife to get mad at you because of us. We can do that with our own wives.
I hope she doesn't listen to this on the podcast.
Oh, no. No. What's her email? We'll send it to her. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks so much for taking a couple minutes. You have a great day, okay? And we'll get the word out for you.
I'd love to come back on again sometime, and thank you guys very much for everything you do up there.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Have a good day. All right. So, Jane's moving her headset around. All right. There we go. So that's the situation in Connecticut. Go to, I just pulled the website up, and I was looking at the web address. It's ccdl.us. I got a blog there. You can read the Sandy Hook thing. You can see all the updates about the case and all the different things they have to say. We have an advantage in New Hampshire where our current situation, gun rights-wise, obviously constantly under attack, but we're in a position where we can actually try to improve that, where, down in Connecticut, they're scrambling for their lives down there just to try to hang on to what rights they have, and they need their help. And if the left is successful, it's like the Colorado model. They'll just duplicate it everywhere they can, until they get what they want.
They got a lot of money in that. I mean, let's face it. These progressives that are sinking huge chunks of cash
Bloomberg
to
and
change.
Steyer.
Of course, yeah.
And it all comes back to one thing. No, nobody wants to hear it. It's the people's fault.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Okay,
It is
the people's fault. It doesn't. It takes a lot to keep a state pro-gun like this. It's a lot of work that nobody sees.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was doing it 8 years. I mean, you're gone like you're actually elected. I mean, you're spending money for, to give the things that you don't have. And I remember running into the president of the Massachusetts pro-gun group. Okay, he had 7,000 members. He had 1.2 million gun owners. Okay, we had 5,500 members, and we didn't even have 1.2 million people in the state. And he used to just I'd talk with him at gun shows, and they'd just marvel at us. And they just sit back and let it happen. And it's the only way government can. Evil only triumphs when good people do nothing. There's no more true statement than that. And I don't know about this gentleman here, but they sat and waited too damn long. Okay, Connecticut's been under attack for a long time.
Yeah, they have.
This isn't brand new.
Well, you look at the demographics politically, and
their legislature's different. It isn't the same. You're right.
Yeah.
Obviously, either our parents or somebody's parents, or maybe it's us or whatever, didn't stand up far. Connecticut's been a blue state for a really long time.
Yeah.
right.
And so, in order to really find out where they went wrong, we have to go back a really far way to figure that out. But given the fact that they had such a huge gun industry in that state.
No, I know. They go right past it.
And how does the gun industry let it happen? Now you got to talk about what kind of deals were made, who was padding whose pockets, and didn't they see it coming? No, clearly they didn't see it coming. If Colt was just looking the other way because they got tax breaks or whatever, well, guess what? Now they're going to have to move.
What was the insurance company thinking? What was the insurance industry doing during Obamacare?
Yeah.
Taking kickbacks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. The gun industry is no different. Soros, if I'm not mistaken,
George Soros.
yes, I'm pretty sure bought
And his
Remington,
son Jonathan, yeah.
Marlin.
No, that's an urban myth.
Okay. Well, either way, Marlin's down there. Well, was down there. Winchester was down there. Colt is down there.
In Gun Valley, all those advanced.
We should have a
advanced
governor.
machine shops.
I've been saying here for 15 years. Why isn't New Hampshire governor?
Isn't
with
that crazy?
Connecticut going so left, not going down there going, hey,
Come
what do
here.
you need to come to New Hampshire?
Absolutely.
See,
and we'll set you right up.
And that's where you go to the ideology.
They didn't
Even
change
though,
the name of that to Murderers Valley?
Yeah. We ostensibly have the motto, live free or die. And you would think that it would fit right in.
Natural.
But we have seen that since New Hampshire has gone to purple, if not a deep purple at times, people like that, firms like that, have a hesitancy to come here because, just what you're fighting right now in the legislature. They're not going to come and do the same thing. They're going to go to a place like Tennessee, Texas, a few other places where, you look at what Magpul did. They said, you really don't think that we have the gumption to get up and move? We're already gone, and they left. And a lot of the
ideas. New Hampshire's roller coaster. our legislature is like
every
this.
2 years.
Right. They can't plan
There's no
on
stability.
that.
Right.
So.
But you look at New York. This past week, I saw the notices on a couple of blog sites that gun stores are shutting down because of the SAFE Act. when you make it so hard to do business,
Of
when
course.
you make it so hard to own, they're going to win by, they don't have to do anything to the Constitution. They just make it
Right.
too hard.
They make the administrative state shut it down, just like Obama was talking about with the coal industry.
Yeah, now you see, you've heard about Operation Choke Point,
Yeah.
which is being run by the Department of Justice. This is the
Disgusting.
shut down industries because of bad reputations.
And
like,
if you
hey,
don't think it's going to work, we used to make steel in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that can be blamed on a number of things, including unions and stuff like that.
but
that
they're
overpriced
of
them.
course, sure, but I mean, still, it's the same idea. Eventually, people in league with the left unions drove the industry out. I mean, they just made it impossible to do business here. Coal's the same thing.
But with the present EPA, do you think we'd even have a vibrant steel industry the size that we are? We couldn't.
How could we?
And that's the problem.
The only thing we're going to be able to make pretty soon around here is Democrat activists.
Right.
We're going to take a
That's
break.
what they want.
We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Rich Gerard, host of Gerard at Large in the Morning, the Manchester area's only locally owned, locally operated, focused, and interested, riveting radio show heard live every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 on 90.7 FM WLMW, New Hampshire Family Radio, and available 24/7 live or archived at GerardAtLarge.com. Be sure to tune in.
This is a coalition of New Hampshire taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is a repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now the top of our list is voter fraud. You have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.